So there's these times in our lives when we get the right people at the right time. And these right people show up at the right time in our lives because who knows what, right? Because of how the universe works. And I just was with a few friends of mine just a couple of days ago. And one of them is a good friend of mine. I met her back in college, and she was actually the person who married me and my wife. And, it just made me think about, how we get these people in our lives and how we meet them at a time in our lives, when I guess we need them the most, even though we might not realize it, right? And this is also true for people who are negative in your life, right? It's not all about just you meeting good people all the time, right? Sometimes you have negative people in your life, but that doesn't mean, negative things might happen, bad things might happen, absolutely. They might double cross you, they might backstab you, they might manipulate you, whatever the case may be. But something is always going to be born from it. Something good is always going to be born from it, depending on how you look at it. And so we get these people in our lives at the right time. And I don't know what made me really think about her, but, or this topic right now, but I just thought about like how she came into my life at a point when, I feel like I needed her the most, you know what I mean? And I don't know if she really realizes this. And I don't know if I ever really expressed this to her, but, it was one of those things where, I was going to college, and at this point I had transferred into a 4-year school, but I was a grown ass man, right? Like I had a full-time job and everything else. It wasn't like the traditional route coming out of high school. So when I went in, I was older. I was basically older than everybody else, right? And she was a little bit older, but she was like still around the same age range roughly as everybody else was. And but we just got to talking. We had a couple classes together, and she was just like really nice. She just like started casually having a conversation with me one day, and next thing you know, we became really good friends. And then we moved in. We were roommates together, and then it was kind of crazy, and then she became one of my really good friends. And one of the things I found so precious, right, about that particular friendship was that, at that point in my life, like I said, I was older. I had a full-time job, right? I was a grown-ass man with grown-ass things to worry about, right? And I was kind of between these two opposite worlds, right? School, which was a little bit more carefree, and work, which was very structured. I had bills, I had responsibilities, everything else I had to pay for. I had built my little life up coming into this situation. And so, at the time, I kind of felt myself feeling negative a lot, right? I was feeling super negative. I was feeling good. I was happy about some things. I really liked the school portion of things. I was doing a lot more intricate photo work, and I was actually getting back into that part of my life, right? The photo part, and then in the creative part, and then I had this other part where I was at this job that was creative, but it was just annoying, right? It just wasn't fulfilling anymore. It was just I just hated it. And even though I never really showed it, I really did. But she was just so positive, man. And this is what I'm talking about with the right people at the right time. She was just so positive. She made me just feel really positive. She made me think about things completely different, man. She was just really carefree, really go with the flow. And she was I feel the version of the person I used to be before I had got caught up in all that nonsense. And I'm not calling it nonsense. It was just part of my life. It was what I had to do, you know what I mean? But I guess the feeling inside of me, the thoughts inside of my mind, you know what I mean? She came in at a time when, I just wasn't she was the old version of me. She was happy-go-lucky, carefree. She was creative, the juices were flowing, you know what I'm saying? And looking at her, I was man, damn, that's that part of me that I miss. I miss that part of myself. And, so that friendship between me and her, man, had just, it just really helped me just a lot, man. It really helped me just, I don't know, you just never know, man. It's right people at the right time, and then you have the opposite side. You have the other side of the coin where you have bad people who come in your life and bad things happen, you know what I'm saying? But we all learn from it, man. And I guess the lesson that I took away from having her friendship was, you know, is like, don't worry, man. Be happy, you know, be loose, be free, you know, and that's how those creative juices flow, you know what I'm saying? We both cope with things differently. You know, I was so used to having so much stress on my plate, man, that like stress wasn't even nothing to me, you know what I'm saying? She didn't really cope with stress that well, but she was able to let go way easier than I was. You know, I wasn't able to let go sometimes, you know, I was always like in like, you know, grind mode, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that old, you know, I don't know what you call it, but like I was just getting kind of like that different type of view of the world. I was like I said, I was stuck between two places. I was stuck between a place where like I was still able to dream and believe that something else was better. There was more to life, you know, there was more to be offered. And then I was stuck at another place where it was just like, yo, this is it. You got to try to, you know, this is what, you know, your life is looking like, you know what I mean? And I don't know, that's like kind of a depressing thought for me. And so, you know, her coming into my life just made me just feel like just so much better, man. And I was able to like loosen up and like really enjoy things. And, you know, yeah. And so that's why when I decided to get married to my wife, you know what I'm saying, I had her marry me, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like, you know, that's a whole nother story about the whole getting married thing. But, you know, yeah, man, you know, I just wanted everything to be special, man. You know, I like, you know, a lot of things in my life I feel have a lot of meaning, man, and I try to always like represent that meaning in the things that I do, you know, and like especially the things that I undertake, man. You know, I always wanted to have some type of meaning, some type of, you know, link, some type of symbolism to my life, man, and that was definitely it. And so here it was, another moment in my life where, you know, I was entering a new chapter. I had met my wife, man, and, you know, her coming into my life and giving me a perspective that did so many things. And so it was just kind of like representative of all those things and times in my life. So sometimes we just meet the right people at the right time, whether they're a good person, whether they're a bad person. We all learn something that we take away from them. So that was just what was on my mind today, man. And hopefully you enjoyed that. And, you know, until next time, people, peace.